and this will in today we will study about system calls. Before going to understand what is system call, let us see how system calls are used. For this we will use an example on how to read data from one file and copy them to another file. We can see this particular image where it is showing source file, and with this arrow it is showing that the content will be copied to the destination file. So this will involve a sequence of system call. Let us go through each and every step and see what are the system calls being used. So the first step is acquire input file name. So the system will ask the user to enter the name of the input file which needs to be copied. So a prompt is shown in the monitor. So at this step there will be the first system call, as the program is using the hardware, in this case the output device monitor, to display the prompt showing that or asking that enter the name of the file, enter the name of the source file. Next step is accept input. So the user will enter the name of the file using keyboard. So here also the user is accessing the input device, the keyboard, so one more system call will be involved here. Now the system will again send a prompt, so one more system call will be required asking the name of the destination file, and again one more system call for user to enter the name of the destination file. So if you can see up to this particular step, there is one system call from the program to display the message that user must enter a name for the source file. Second step, user enters the name of the file using keyboard, one more system call, and the same step is repeated in this and in this particular point for the destination file. So up to this point we see 4 system calls are being used, and these 4 system calls are, to be more specific, are input output system calls. Now open the input file. If file does not exist, abort. Now it may happen the name of the file what has been entered by the user does not exist. If the file does not exist, the system will again call a system call and it will abort abnormally. Similarly, create output file. If file exists, abort. Again, if the name of the output file is already there, that is a file with the same name is already existing, then the system will again be calling the system call and it will abort abnormally, or it can delete the file and create a new file with the same name. So these are the possibilities you can see for this particular section. File does not exist, so system call. File exists, so it will be deleted. If it is not deleted, then it will be aborted. So one more system call. Now the next step is to read from the input file and write to the output file. So it will go inside a loop until read fails. Now there is again a possibility that the reading of input fails because of maybe parity error, or the writing to the output file fails maybe because of hard disk failure, or because the drive is already full, or the printer which we are using, supposed to printing not in the disk but to the printer, the printer is paperless. So in that case there will be system calls called against each of the failures. Also we see that reading and writing the output file will also involve system call. Now when the writing is complete, a system call will be there to close the output file, and after that write completion message will be sent to the screen, which is again the monitor. So one more system call, and finally it will terminate normally. That means the program will terminate normally, so it will be one more system call. So if you see in this particular example, there are sequence of system calls starting from the first step till the last step. So now we will see how the program to read data from one file and copy them to another file is actually using the system call. So for this we have to see this particular example. If you see this example, it is an example of a standard API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. As an example of a standard API, consider read function that is available in Unix and Linux system. The API for this function is obtained from the manual page by invoking the command. Now the question is that what is this API and how it is related with system call. Now as the user of the program or being the application programmer, the user is unaware about the complexities involved in a system call. So the user of the program or the application program or the application can use an interface to use the system call, and that interface is nothing but this API. I will repeat, the application program, if it wants to use the system call, it can do it with the help of this API, Application Programming Interface. So in general there are Win32 API for Windows system, POSIX API for Unix, Linux, Mac operating system 10, and Java API for Java virtual machine. So API is nothing but a functionality given to the application programmer so that they can easily use the system call without knowing the complexity. As an example, here we can see a read function for the Win32 API, that is for Windows. We see that the name of the function is read and it has certain parameters. Because we want to read, so if we look at this particular parameters, we want to know the file from which we want to read. So FD represents the file pointer or the file descriptor, that is from the file from which we want to read the data. Now when we read the data, we have to store it in the buffer. We cannot directly read it from the hard disk and write it to the hard disk. So a buffer is required. So the next section is the buffer where the data will be read into. Now file is available, the buffer is available, and the file content will be written to the buffer. Now how much content will be written, and that is defined by the last parameter size underscore t. So from a file, this much amount of data or this many bytes, count of bytes will be stored in the buffer for reading. So the description is given in this particular section, and the program uses this read API function to actually use the system call. Now when you are reading from the file, as in our example, previous example we have seen, if the read operation is successful, it will return, if you can see here, s size underscore t, it will return the number of bytes that has been successfully read by the function. And if there is a end of file, then it will return 0. And if there is an error while reading the file, for example there is some disk error, then it will return -1. So this API, this simple API as an example, read, will be able to read the data from the file stored in the buffer, and how much data based on this. Now if the read is successful, it will return the number of bytes that has been read, and if the error occurs, then it will return -1, and if the end of file is there, then this will return 0. This way it can be used by the application program. Now the application program must use this header file, otherwise it is not possible to access this particular function because it is defined under this header file unistd.h. So now we can relate that application program or the user program can use this standard API, Win32 API or POSIX API or Java API, and can call the systems to get its functionality or get its services. Now we are in a stage to go to the definition of system call. So what is a system call? System call is nothing but the interface between a process and operating system. In general, system calls are available as routines. Routines are nothing but programs which are written either in C language, C++ or assembly language. The API makes the appropriate system call. As I have just mentioned in the previous slide, that the read function will be calling the system call and thus will be able to access the functionalities, which is much complex and which is hidden from the user. So we can see how it is being done. We can see this particular example. If you see in this example, there is a user application and which uses an API. So this is a standard API, open API, and this API, it can be a Win32 API, this can be a Java API, this can be a POSIX API. So the user application uses an API, and in this API there is one function, or there can be multiple functions. So suppose there is an open function, so the open function will be used by the user application, which in turns call the system call interface, and the system call interface will check a table, and the system call interface will check in a table the list of system calls which are assigned against the functions of each of the API. So for example, for open API there will be some number I in the table, and for that there will be a system call. So it will execute the system call against this open function which is a part of API. So if you see, the system call interface is actually in the kernel mode. Now what is the advantage? The user can directly use the system call. Why the user needs API? Now if the user is having the API, then direct system call provides for greater program portability between different systems. That means the program can be ported to a different system if it is using the same API, irrespective of the architecture. So that is the example of or advantage of having APIs. Now let us look at some of the examples of Windows and Unix system calls. So if you look at this example, we see that we have process control system calls for Windows and Unix, we have file manipulation system calls, we have device manipulation, information maintenance, communication, protection. For each of these functionalities of operating system, we have a system call. For example, if you can see, for Windows there is a create process system call. So these are the system calls in Windows, and these are the system call in Unix. So we will be specifically looking at fork, exit and wait system call in Unix in our lab class. Similarly, for file manipulation, we have create file, read file, write file, close handle. Similarly, the corresponding equivalent Unix system calls are open, read, write, close. Device manipulation, we have set console mode, read console, write console, and the corresponding are IOCTL, read, write, and so on. If we see the other system calls, next part we will see types of system calls. So that's all for now. Thank you.